Hello, Hot Metal family. I'm Kathy Fulmer, and I'm going to reflect with you today on two passages attributed to the Apostle John. The first one is from 1 John chapter 3, verses 1 through 3, and the second is from the book of Revelation chapter 7, verses 9 through 17. And I don't know that these are meant to be linked, but today they're linked in my brain, so there we have it. In the Revelation passage, John pauses from talking about his vision of great suffering that's to come. And it's almost as if he realizes this is really heavy and the children of God might need some encouragement. And he tells us about a vision he has about great multitudes so large that no one could possibly count them around the throne of God. And the people in this multitude come from every tribe and nation and language and every other distinction that we of humans have made to describe people, people of every race, people of every ability, people who have all kinds of political views. And you get it. Everybody, people from everywhere are going to be around the throne of God praising him. And these folks in this vision, the passage also says, have endured great suffering. And he goes on to say that now that they're with God, they will not be hungry anymore. They won't be thirsty. They won't be harmed by the heat of the sun. They'll have the word of life, and there'll be no more tears. Imagine that. That's God's heart for the multitudes who will be worshiping him with us at his throne. And so then my brain goes back to, goes back to 1 John chapter 3. And I want to read you just this first verse because I can't read it enough and I want you to hear it. See how very much our Father loves us, for he calls us his children, and that is what we are. And later in that passage, it says, a passage I also love, it says that we don't know what we will be like when we see Jesus, but we'll be like him because we'll see him finally as he really is. And so thinking about both of those passages, I wonder, so if I see Jesus as he really is, what would I be like? What would I be doing? And I kind of think what I would be like and what I would be doing would be, first of all, I'd recognize that there's nothing I do, nothing I am that causes me or entitles me to be called a child of God. God has chosen me, and he chooses me, and he calls me his own, and he called you, and he chose you, and he said, you are his child. And you know what else? All those multitudes, he calls them his children too. Because why? Because he loves them so much. And so I've been thinking, as I see Jesus in moments of clarity as he really is, maybe I should be seeing the parts of the multitude that are around me or that I see on my television screen. Maybe I should be seeing them as the children of God and treating them accordingly. Can't escape that tomorrow's election day here in the United States, and I've already voted. But in my vote, I considered all of the children of God. I considered God's heart for them, that they wouldn't be hungry, that they wouldn't be thirsty, that they would know that they are loved of God, that they wouldn't have as many occasions to cry, not because of the way I've treated them. And so my vote goes in that direction. No political party is going to have enough policies to treat us the way God wants us to be loved. So we just do our best. And in our daily lives, I like to reflect on who might be around the throne, and I think of my childhood pastor and her partner in ministry, the Reverend Edith Dixon and the Reverend Jeanette Simpson. They were women. They were pastors in a time that women could be pastors. Didn't mean it was ever easy, and they were in places that were hard. And yet everyone who knew them knew that they had shown them God's love. But also there are going to be people at the throne that I don't like, and I won't burden you with my list. And they're also God's beloved children. He calls them too. And so at a minimum, I'm called to pray for them and to ask God to bless them, to ask God to show them who he really is and that he loves them. And so today, folks, let's first of all sit with the knowledge that God calls us. He calls us his children, and he continues to call us. And he also loves all of the people that we encounter. Blessings.